story I kind of want to share about is what is it like to be a rep for SCG? And so today I have two guests, and I'm going to unmute one of the guests right now. All right, and so welcome, guys. How you doing?
It is lovely to see you.
Okay.
Glad to be here. I couldn't be happier.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today. Yeah, really. Thank you so much. But you know what? Simply, we're going to do. Gary, are you with us? Gary,
He's in there. He is on there.
Maybe he can hear us. Gary, can you hear us? No, nope. So we're just going to start this way then. Introduce yourself and how long, if you, Jonathan, how long you've been working for SCG now?
So I am coming up on 2.5 years, 3 years, somewhere around there, 3 years in July. So yeah, I moved down from Georgia up to Kentucky, and I've been here and enjoy it, man. I've been in the industry about 6 years, but been with General for almost 3 now.
And Nick?
It's been almost the same because I started at STG over on the pipe tobacco side, but I've been on the cigar side for it'll be a little over 2 years now.
So again, I was, a lot of people know that I started with General Cigar at that time as a salesman, and I loved my territory. I loved what I was doing because it gives us the ability to interact with a lot of different people because all shop owners are different, all the clients are different. So that was something that I really enjoyed. And also because we at that time and today we have a great line to introduce to the market. So to represent some of these great lines like Macanudo at the time, Cueva, Partagas, Hoya, Punch, and all that, it was fun for us to go out there. And today it's kind of the same thing for us, I think, if you ask these guys. But to get started, what I did was write some questions down. And then later on, guys, if you have any questions, just kind of send your question in, and we would love to answer the question if you have one for me, Jonathan, or Nick. So we asked the question. Jonathan, how large is your territory? What states and how large?
So I do all of Kentucky, parts of Indiana, parts of Ohio, and parts of West Virginia. So I have about 3.5 states, and stay pretty busy. I mean, I go about 6-7 hours out from my house to my farthest areas. About 170 nights a year on the road in hotels. So yeah, pretty big area there.
How many counts do you think you have in your territory?
About 130.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right. And Nick, same thing. Size your territory. How many overnights and?
Roughly the same amount of nights as Jonathan. I don't have to travel quite as much as he does as far as distance goes. I have most of Georgia. I have Nashville and Chattanooga in Tennessee. I have Huntsville, Alabama, and I just recently got the lower coast of Georgia with Hilton Head and Savannah and all that. It's, but because we are in so many shops, our territories kind of have to be small because there's so many shops and we're in so many shops. So I think I have about 200 shops in my territory.
Wow. All right. So if my next question, I would want to know, because you travel outside of your hometown, what is your favorite city to visit when you are traveling? Nick, you're going to start.
I'm gonna irritate somebody with my answer. Honestly, I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I think Nashville is an amazing town. Great retailers out there, and it's always exciting. I love going there. Right. But the only ocean I have in my territory is down there in St. Simons and Savannah, and that's kind of like a little bit therapeutic. So I kind of love that too.
Yeah. And then you know what, like everybody has a couple of favorites. When I travel a lot of cities, but there's, the top 3 or 4 or 5 that I have. So I'm sure like for you guys, the same thing, maybe a small one. So in your smaller sizes, what is a town that you enjoy to visit?
Me too. Yeah. I mean, Huntsville to me is unparalleled. The quality of the shops there, everybody does it differently, and they do it so well. It's just a joy to be there. The people are amazing, and it's invigorating for the job to see somebody really good at what they do. And that town to me is an example of just really excellent cigar shops and people.
And
I miss
the
Huntsville.
clientele, yeah, the clientele.
You would have never thought. I mean, like, nothing against the town; it's a great town, but I would have never thought it would be that. And a lot of it's because you have engineers and NASA and all the stuff there. You have to bring your best.
Right, for sure. All right, Jonathan, a couple of your favorites.
Yes, I would say like big city is definitely Indianapolis, even though it's not a big city for some of you guys. But the food, the places to stay, the shops, that whole combination. Love going up to Indy. I go up there and do 3 or 4 days a month. Stay downtown, go to Nikki Blaine's Steakhouse every once in a while. Get some good time. So do a little minor league baseball up there. So it's a lot of fun. But I think it's a really cool city. It's a small town feel in a big city.
Right.
So I love it. As far as small towns go, for whatever reason, Dayton, Ohio. I love Dayton, Ohio. They have a great little food and bar district. A couple of the shops that feel like home away from home are there. And so after I get done working, I can just go hang out at the shop, go play dominoes, play cards, feel like I'm not working and just enjoying myself. So Dayton, Ohio is my favorite little small town, but Columbus is amazing. Cincinnati, Lexington, I live there. Louisville is a city all to itself. I mean, it's really incredible. So I've got some really fun places to go.
Yeah. And so talking about that and how many cities you visit, average miles per year you guys put on your car?
I'm about 38,000 a year. That's what I've been averaging since I've been here.
Right.
This year will be a little less.
Yeah. Really?
Well, if anybody knows what it's like to drive in Atlanta, there's no such thing as a short drive. So I do around 3,300 a month,
Right.
roughly.
Right. Yeah. Wow. It's amazing. All right. So now I'm going to ask you a question about, what we represent, the lines. When you go to your local shop, what do you think is a hidden jewel that we make that maybe people don't really pay attention to it? And that's going to be any cigar that we have. So what do you think is a hidden jewel in our line that when you see it on the shelf, like, bro, that's a great cigar.
I'm gonna kiss your ass. I mean, that Polone.
Okay.
The Polone to me is a cigar that is it's a sneak attack because it's right in that middle sweet spot with the flavor profile. It's not overly aggressive, it's not overly mild, and as a result it gets overlooked by a lot of people. It doesn't have a really showy box. A lot of people don't know what a Polone is.
Right.
But when you smoke it, it's an any time of day cigar, and it doesn't taste like other cigars, and I always chase that in a stick. So I'd say the CAO Polone for sure. And just as a side note, I think that the original Whiskey Row is still just one of those go-tos. Just a fantastic smoke.
Great cigar because it's so different. I think you chosen two cigars that if you say represents a General Cigar in the minds of a lot of people, those two cigars don't come to mind. And
well,
so
yeah, for people that think they know our company,
yeah.
I defy them to try that and say, "Oh, this is this big company of faceless people." It's like, no, these are passion cigars.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jonathan, what do you think when you see it on the shelf? You're like, bro, yeah, that's a great cigar.
One that I know you're not going to like, and one that you may. My first Mac Vintage 97, that's one of my go-tos, man. That it's one of the most chocolatey Maduros, just that old school Maduros. When it's in a store, it sells like crazy. It's just a matter of saying, hey, this is something maybe you don't see everywhere. Once you get it in a store, though, people absolutely love it. And it's been a fun one for me. And then from the CAO line, the Cameroon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
I if I see that on the shelf, I know they're a real CAO, store. And
I agree.
That cigar to me, I can smoke it morning, noon, or night, and I'm a huge Cameroon guy, so I absolutely love it. But that cigar is one of my favorites of all time, and it's one that when I see, I'm really impressed.
You know, again,
what is the bird like? What's the bird's favorite cigar?
He likes potato chips and dried bread.
Do you have a cat? Maybe invest in a cat, you know? But
I don't have that kind of money.
yeah, I agree with you guys. A lot of these cigars, for me, Cameroon is the, I think in our line, it's the fifth best-selling cigar in our line. So there is somebody that enjoys a cigar, and I heard, I hear about the cigar a lot from the shop owners that do carry it. So, bro, this is a great Cameroon style cigar, and so. But you know what? If I had to pick, there was a cigar, Punch Royal Carnation. It's one of my favorites, little hidden jewels out there in the market. I love that cigar, and I'm still a kind of a fan of Series R Maduro from La Gloria. It's another one of my kind of favorite lines that I've been smoking for the last 20 years.
And such an influential cigar in the industry.
Really, it's just introduced large ring gauges that everybody can accept. Yeah, they were the monster cigars back in when they launched that cigar. Yeah, for sure. All right, so now talking about that and talking about cigars, what is one of your favorite cigars outside of General Cigar SCG that you are saying, this is a good made cigar from what company? So what do you think is one of your jewels that you kind of branch out other than what you have available to you? What is that cigar?
Anything that Mombacho makes.
Okay.
Anything Claudio Segura does to me and is just manna from heaven.
Tierra Volcan, baby. Yes, yeah.
And Liga Maestro, the Tierra Volcan, the Casa Favilli, everything they do is just unique. He trained in Davidoff, so you got the baseline of that Davidoff, but he's introduced something way different to it. They're a little company. They're an underdog. You have to tell people about it. But I think when I go to a shop and I see that and I'm trying somebody else's cigar, that's the first place I go.
The little Corto in the Tierra Volcan is still one of my favorite cigars of all time. So, yeah.
I think that's what I love about both of you guys, because I have saw you guys purchase cigars outside of our lines. And in my eyes, that's the best thing you can do as a cigar rep. Because if you can't compare that cigar or smoke that cigar, it's just say, well, I smoked this cigar. What in your line do you have kind of like that? Oh, I only smoke General Cigar. That's the wrong approach.
You're doing yourself a disservice.
I agree, because you're a cigar lover to get into this business before you were a salesman getting into this business. And so I love the fact that you guys reach out, smoke every cigar out there to be able to enjoy it, talk about it, a positive, negative, or you know what? If you enjoy that cigar, try this one. It's not the same, but I think it's the same ballpark. Yeah, for sure.
So for me there, a little company called Curavari. Rick, I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I've never, no.
I actually, hopefully no one's listening here. I actually walked one of my accounts over after we got done doing an order at the show that I knew would do really well with that cigar, over to their booth and introduced them. And they brought it in their shop and it's done really well. But it's one of my all-time favorites. They have many different facings, but just great cigar. I'm sure Nick, you've had them, especially down at 5 Points. But again, a small brand with a very humble guy that's leading the brand, similar to Claudio. And some of they're ones that if I see them in a store, I buy them every time I see them in a store. So
to their credit, their footprint has grown tremendously over the past 2 years. They're pretty ubiquitous now.
Yeah.
But I think as a manufacturer too, it's very easy to get blinders on and just stay in one lane and not pay attention to what's going on. But this industry, it needs to innovate. It needs to evolve, and you need to, challenge yourself. And sometimes that means going out of that comfort zone. And that's the best way to see. There's a lot of talented people out there, and it's not just in our company. They're everywhere. The cigars have never been this good. So it's so much fun.
I'm always preaching that to everybody I can talk to and say, guys, enjoy this time, because this is the best time in the history of smoking cigars. You have so many flavors and varieties and bodies and shapes and sizes and tobacco. This is the heyday. Enjoy every cigar. Now, maybe once in a while enjoy one of mine, but enjoy cigars out there, because I agree with you. Everybody has access to great tobacco today. Everybody's doing something different in every factory. They don't copy each other. I think it's just a beautiful time.
And I think the consumers are more savvy. So you can't sneak the
agree.
wool over their eyes. You have to come to play.
Yeah, I agree. Because, when we're doing events, even with you guys or you're doing your own events, I've always said 5 years ago, the questions were kind of not elementary, but junior high. And the question today is like, they are getting more knowledge, and they want more information from not only me, for you guys, because you are repping that line. So you tell me the story behind the cigar. Yeah, so I agree with that. It's hard. It really is hard. It's a great time to be in the business, but it's hard too, because there's so many great cigars out there fighting for the little spice called the humidor.
Yep.
Sure. Gary, you with us?
I am. I'm back.
Where'd you go?
I couldn't get in as moderator, but I'm here. So how are you guys doing?
Oh, great, brother.
So you know what? I'll have one more question before we kind of toss it over to Gary. All right, my question to each of you guys: what was your favorite cartoon when you were growing up to watch on Saturday in the morning? Jonathan, you can start.
Okay, I'm a classic kind of guy. CAO Brasilia is my favorite cigar that we make. So I'm a classic kind of guy. So it was Tom and Jerry for me, man. I love Tom and Jerry. I enjoyed the cat and mouse game, if you will, and it was just a hell of a good time every time. So yeah, that was my go-to, man.
All right.
I would just watch Fritz the Cat all the time. No, I was a big that old Godzilla cartoon with Godzuki. So that was magic for me.
That was in the 80s or 90s?
Can we go back a little further?
No way. The 70s?
Nick's way older than he looks.
I think late 70s, early 80s. It was. I still watch it. That's how dumb I am.
Wow. No, you know what? I have a new Fire Stick, and I just downloaded a classic cartoon channel. So I am watching. I can't believe that the cartoons that we're watching back in the day would never be launched today.
Well, honestly,
No.
Tex Avery was a genius.
Yes.
Like some of those Roadrunner, like that is in the same way that Charlie Chaplin and Harold Lloyd and all those guys, Buster Keaton did stuff that we still can't match.
Yeah.
Those animators working with very rudimentary tools did amazing stuff.
But the music is what made those old cartoons. The music was so incredible, and it built up the suspense so well. It wasn't fast paced like cartoons are today. It was a much slower pace, but that music built everything up in the background. It was, still the classic cartoons came on Saturday mornings where I live. So we didn't have cable. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, it's less words, more action, more music. And that was really the thing that I loved. All right, Gary, I'm done with this, guys. And we'll go back to questions. Anybody have any questions for the game?
Yeah, we do have a couple so far.
Okay.
So David's got a question for John and Nick. He wants to know, what is your favorite part of the job? We could make things interesting and add least favorite too.
Yeah.
If you want to go there.
Yeah, for sure. I want to know that first. All right, guys. You're
Nick
on.
or me, who's up?
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Favorite part of the job is I love people, and that's why I got into this in the first place. I love cigars, but I love people even more. And just getting to meet people from all different areas, all different walks of life, all different socioeconomic backgrounds, like that is just a blast to me. I love going to a store, just sitting down, talking to people. And I've met some of the greatest people in my life through the cigar business. So that's my best. That's my favorite.
I hate people.
Yeah.
But somehow cigar people aren't regular people. There's this film that covers the doorway of a cigar shop that strains all the BS outside, and everybody is united, just like you said. And yeah, and you get to see the result. Like, so you work hard, you try to get the right products in the stores, and to see somebody light one up and smoke it and enjoy it, and to share that experience with them, to me, is worth all the hours on the road and all the bad food and all that other stuff.
Yeah. So, guys, you can't, let this guy down. So, least favorite part of the job. For me, getting there is my least favorite part of my job. I don't mind doing events. I don't mind eating cold fried chicken. I don't mind hotel rooms. I don't mind my events, but I hate flying to my events. So, Jonathan,
I'd say least favorite is kind of missing some of those family events or missing some of those times with your wife. When you want to be there for something, and sometimes you just got to, there's a big event happening, Mother's Day weekend, or there's something going on, and that's probably the toughest part, is just missing out on some big life milestones and stuff. And I don't have kids yet, so I can't imagine when you get to that point.
Honestly, it's a weird thing. My least favorite part is the moments leading up to an event, the anticipation of it not going well, like not doing, like it not being what people want. Because to me, that the events, there are so many of them, and everybody does them their own way. And I think a lot of people are so used to them that you feel like you have to bring something different so that they don't feel like they're treading water. And there's that stress of, can we make this experience worth their time? Because I've been on the other side of a counter running a shop, and I've had that same dread where, is the rep going to show up? Is the product going to show up? Are people going to show up? And then are we going to be able to keep them entertained? And that, to me, and it always works out. We always find a way, but it's that anticipation that really wears me down.
All right, so I ask you this: do the shop owners and the workers feel that pressure that we feel? Are they concerned about? All right, I think we did our job. We announced it. We had posters up, and we don't wait. So do they feel the pressure too? As a shop?
No, Nick has worked in a shop, so he's got a different perspective.
Yeah.
But what I run into a lot is like shop owners sitting there before an event saying, "Hey man, I'm sorry if people don't show up." Like, I feel them like worrying about letting us down sometimes.
Okay.
And I always hate that. I'm like, no, dude, you do your thing. You do the best you can do. Yeah. If 8 people show up, you can't make these people come to the door. Exactly. So, I mean, I see a lot of shop owners, they put a lot of pressure on themselves to perform for us as well. And I always hate that, because I'm like, guys, just do your best. If there's 5 people here, we're going to have a blast, and we're going to do our best with them.
Yeah. And I think it's a case by case, because some shops, you're giving them a night off. You're basically giving them a chance to be one of the guys and just hang out and let somebody else do the heavy lifting. And there are shops that are like clockwork, and you're just a piece of this mousetrap that all the stuff is happening. But I think they know, like, there was a period of time where it was about just buying a tremendous amount of boxes, and you had this ominous stack looking at you like, I got to get rid of this or this guy's going to hate me. Now I think it's a little bit more organic, and you know what their needs are, so it's more logical. So I think it's a better place now.
Because I hated back in the day when we had that 50 boxes behind me, and the owner looking at me, get rid of these boxes. And my question to them all the time, I wanted to ask, I never asked. Typically, if you had 50 boxes of one style, how long would it take you to get through that product? And you want me to do it in 3 hours? You know? So it's amazing. So I agree with you, Nick. I think we changed the way we look at our events to not only give the consumers a great time, but don't put a lot of pressure on the shop owners to buy in a product, especially new product, that we don't know in that shop is going to work. Because the shop that we went to the other night, it like, wow, we sold out. But we don't know it's going to happen every shop, every stop that we do. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, then you have added pressure sometimes when a Ricky Rodriguez or a Laurel Tilley or a Sean Williams is on the road with you. And especially the first few times you travel with you guys, when you're starting out as a rep here, I mean, you want to perform for you guys. You want to show, you guys that you're bringing people to the shop and doing everything you need to do. So that's what Nick was talking about, those moments leading up to those events. When I'm doing one on my own, I don't feel that kind of pressure the same way. But when I, had you guys coming in for the first couple of times, that was a little scary. It was a little intimidating.
Yeah, I like it way better with them because they have, even though it's fake, they have star power, And let's not forget Justin Andrews, who always gets shafted when we talk about these people.
He's a brand manager.
Yeah.
He's so good he's so much fun in events.
Yeah.
But no, I think you know, the chance to meet you, or to meet Laurel or to meet Sean, I think it really is special. And to have that one-on-one time is something we could regurgitate facts about cigars and we could tell how we love it. But something when it comes from your mouth, I think it just, you know, they feel a direct connection to the process, which is neat.
It's like I've always said, it's like meeting that chef on your local restaurant that you go to, and that one night he comes out to the front and stops to your table, asks you your name, and the next time he sees you, hey Nick, how you doing? Wow, you know, or a wine guy, or beer guy, or spirit guy, or you know, an athlete, or movie star. Once you have that one-on-one connection, all of a sudden you're, bro, I thought this, but now I know this, and it's better for us. Yeah, but I also think for you guys, what is kind of fun to work with the 4 people that we have out there. There's 4 different styles. Mm-hmm. You know, if you look at Laurel and Sean and me and Justin, you know, if you say, oh, I saw Laurel, so I'm not going to see Sean and Ricky because they work for the same company. It's a different time. It's a different show.
And the cigars are different too. That's another thing. They, you know, they're completely different styles.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's 4 different backgrounds as well. You guys covered that. You were on a podcast the other day, and it's just 4 different backgrounds, retail, owning a shop as a former rep, to a master blender, to Justin, who's kind of co-owned a brand and worked his way up there. It's just totally different styles, totally different backgrounds, different, you know, you could do a different event once a week with the 4 of you and not be a problem at all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and this business is the island of misfit toys. I mean, it's the most eclectic, you know, none of the normal rules seem to apply. And I think it makes the stories more fun too.
Yes.
All right, Gary, that was a short answer for a long question.
I feel like this next one is going to be the same way. So
okay.
This is actually a great question. So it seems like the 3 of you all have your dream jobs, but now that you've each done this job for a while, do you guys have other dream jobs within the industry?
You know, I want to stop before they answer because what I know about these guys and kind of their background, you know what, share before you answer that question, Jonathan, you love playing in the band, and then Nick, you were a reviewer for movies, and you wrote about those movies, and so that is kind of interesting to me. So maybe you already had your 2 of your dream jobs, are doing 2 of your 2 things that you really I was set in the earth to do this. So Jonathan, what do you play? And you know?
Yeah, so I play drums. I'm not a great drummer, but I played in a band in Athens, Georgia. So we were house band at a couple places, played a bunch of breweries. It was a side gig, but it was like kind of the thing that got me up in the morning to go to my regular job, knowing, hey, we're playing tomorrow night at this bar, or we're doing this, and you know, something I'm really passionate about. And I think what you just said, Rick, makes sense, because it's kind of, I think this is an industry for passionate people. So I think most people that are in this industry have pursued some of these different passions. And yeah, so I've done a lot of different stuff, but yeah, I enjoy the music thing. I still do it on the side. I still do it when I can, and have a lot of fun with it. Nick also plays in a band.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. Like I was a film critic for like 2 decades, and I've produced a couple of films, and I've been involved in that. I have a lot of contacts out there, so I still kind of dip my toe and hang out with those people. But I think any job that you commit to has to be something that you really care about. Otherwise, you're going to just die young. And it's funny, I found cigars because I was writing. I needed a place to write, and cigar shops was the place for that therapy. So the worlds collided, and I ended up loving this because you actually see the result of your work right then and there, rather than making something and firing it off into the ether and wondering if that's ever going to happen. As far as the business goes, though, I think, you know, having seen how our company does stuff, it's hard not to get excited about new products, how they're marketed, what the blends are like, just being a part of helping get products onto the market that are great. And we've been empowered by you and others already in terms of new blends and stuff like that. So to me, that's the only, it can't be much better than what we do now as far as I'm concerned, but that's the only thing is to be able to share a little bit of what you guys do is the best other alternative that we have.
Yeah, I don't want to be a master cigar blender. I don't want to be a brand ambassador, rock star going around. My dream job is doing what I'm doing, but also, like Nick said, it's so cool that I get to be a part of what Punch is doing and what CAO and what Macanudo. And if Ed Lehman, our brand ambassador for Punch, might reach out and call me one day and say, hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? And we're a part of a huge multinational company, and we're such a small part of that, but they empower us to actually be an actual part of what's coming out. I was able to name a cigar at our company. I was able to help with a lot of different stuff we have going on, different programs we have for when we come back. They give us those opportunities, and that's pretty amazing. It's for a company our size, you wouldn't think that we have those, and I think we have those more than some people that are in actual smaller companies. Surprisingly, I mean, they really, really give us that opportunity. So this is my dream job in the cigar industry. It really is.
For me, I didn't thought. I think 20 years ago, I'm going to go to work with General Cigar, and it's going to become my dream job, and that happened to me. So yeah, sometimes you're just lucky and you fall into something, and it just happens to be, it works out to be your dream job, and that is definitely for me. I'm living my dream right now.
I think the great thing about what we do is it's a new experience every day. I mean, every day it's a different, you're traveling, you're meeting new people, you're meeting people that you've developed relationships with. So you don't get caught in that rut of 9 to 5, same old, same old. It's always exciting. And there's the grind doesn't really exist because there's always something that's challenging you and the change of scenery, except for the past 2 months.
A lot of the same scenery.
Yeah. A lot of the same birds, right?
Yeah, dude. I've named them all.
All right, Gary.
All right, so this next one is pretty funny. This is a multi-part question from 3 of your friends. So the first part is from Duff, and it's to Jonathan. He would like to know what that is behind you. He wants to know if that's a kegerator. Rick, Ed wants to know how many drinks you currently have in front of you, because it seems like you've been going back and forth between a bunch of drinks. And then on that note, Christy and Bernie are asking you guys what your favorite drink pairings are with cigars, and if you have any advice for your fans.
I'll start. Bud Light, and I was drinking a Coca-Cola, Ed, but I switched to a Bud Light. So thank you so much for noticing, counting my drinks. All right, guys, back to you.
All right, so what's behind me, Duff? This is a CAO flathead humidor. So it's pretty cool here.
Good luck opening it at that angle.
There's shelves in there.
Right.
So yeah, so it's a beautiful like toolbox style humidor. It's not a kegerator. And then I have 2 Punch bobbleheads behind me. The surfer guy here.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what he is. Something else.
Race car driver.
Race car driver guy. Yeah.
All right.
So that's what's behind me. And my favorite pairing with cigars is coffee. I love just black coffee and a cigar. I feel like you get the best flavor, the best pairing, and I love coffee and a cigar. There's nothing better.
I go with anything. Like it could be port wine, it could be bourbon, it could be scotch, it could be coffee, it could be, there's another rep that's big on Yoo-Hoo with the cigar. So it's whatever's right now, really. Like right now I'm having some whiskey, but there's no wrong answer if you're having the right cigar.
I think it's your mood. If it's hot day, like right now, it's hot. So Bud Light for me. Cold day, Bud Light. Warm day, Bud Light. Well, you know what? It's in your mood. It's in your mood.
It's good that the guy that's in charge with the blending at the master level is drinking a freaking Bud Light right now.
Hey, drinks, man. Every event. Hey, can you go pick up some Bud Light, John?
All right, enough of that. All right, Gary.
All right, so this next one is not cigar related, but it's a good question. If you could completely forget any movie and enjoy it again for the first time, what movie would it be?
Ooh.
That was all Nick.
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
Wow.
It's
Nick,
not a tough one.
Well, I was going to say definitely not a tough one for you, Nick. So.
I'd say Jaws. Jaws was a seminal movie. It was like one of the first catalysts in my life. and it still works despite all of the 70s trappings that should kill it. And I think there's something visceral about that movie that the first time you see it, there's a reason people didn't go to the beach for a long time. That movie, that's one that I would love to revisit for the first time.
I'm going to say one of my favorite movies from my childhood was Back to the Future. Like, I would like to watch that from scratch again, completely forgetting it. It was just such a fun movie, and thinking about all the possibilities going back in time, or actually it was going to the future in the first one. But yeah, it was a fantastic movie. I would do that one.
You like movies where guys try to date their moms. I get it.
Dude, that's right up my alley.
That's a classic.
That was Back to the Future 2, sir.
No, his mom tried to date him in one.
Yeah, there you go.
Or the incident was broken. Yeah.
What about you, Ricky?
There's an old movie that I saw 13 times when I was young, and it just, for whatever reason, struck something. Billy Jack.
Oh, Tom Laughlin.
Oh, bro, there's something about that connection. He was talking to me.
Tight jeans.
Oh, bro. He was a man of few words, like me when I was growing up. So, yeah, Billy Jack. I went to the movies and paid 75 cents.
That movie doesn't have the same, that's not like a name brand for some reason. That should be considered one of those cult classics, and it's not. Like Walking Tall, everybody knows, but Billy Jack, not as much.
It's amazing. I did enjoy Billy Jack 2, by the way. I didn't like that one, but
well, he goes to space in that one, right?
No, DC. I think he went to DC. All right, Gary. Hey, Gary, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Now you're going to put me on the spot. I might have to think about that.
Yeah, Jonathan is especially interested in this question.
Yeah.
I might have to ask you guys a question first. Actually, Rick, this next one for you is about all of your different holiday blends that you come out with. So Dario would like to know if you're bringing back any new holiday collections, like any of your Halloween or Christmas collections.
We're thinking about launching a pass 2 of each one that we launched back in the day. And so I think either it's going to come out in 2021, possibly 2022. Depending on, because right now, because of what we're living through, we have to back up a lot of launches. So I think it's sneaking into 2021 already. So I think we're going to be full. And so if I was a betting man, I think we're going to do something for 2022 for that line, because we are going to introduce a line for the Christmas holiday called the Vision again this year. And so that's a special box that lights up in a special blend that we created using a Cameroon wrapper for that cigar. And so that's going to come up. But for that series, maybe 2021. Yeah.
All right.
And didn't you get to collaborate with your old buddy on that cigar?
Benji, yes. You wrote, really, to tell you the truth, he blended that cigar because I was fighting with that cigar. But again, I've been smoking that cigar for the last 2 months, and it's changing the way I look at Cameroon cigars, or that wrapper. For sure.
I love it.
Yep, for sure.
Old dog with a new trick. It makes me happy.
So, Nick, this question is primarily for you, but everyone else can answer it also. So this is an entertainment industry question from Michael. If you had an opportunity to do an ad placement in a movie, what cigar would you want to use, and what movie would you put it in?
That's interesting.
That might take a little time.
Our company has a history with tie-ins like that. Yeah, give me a second, because I don't want to just throw something out there.
Yeah. I was, Sopranos, and I would love to have Tony smoking that cigar with that band on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be cool if we did that. Yeah. I
think, okay, you think of like a movie like Wall Street, right? Or the TV show Billions, which we just met the creator of. Like a Cohiba Macassar being smoked by a super powered Gordon Gekko type, I think would be really cool. Because to me that cigar is decadent and the epitome of excellence, and and sophistication, and to have it in a film like that would be really cool.
So I was going to say, I was still thinking about that movie question.
You're kidding me, bro.
And I was going to say,
we don't know is the truth or not, just lie.
No, I was going to tell you, I love like a good thriller. So I would say, like, I love like the movie 7, Silence of the Lambs, like movies like that. So to see those again for like the first time, I feel like once you know what's going to happen in those movies, like I would love to see it again, not knowing what was going to happen.
What a great idea, Gary. Brad Pitt screams, "What's in the box?" And they open up and there's a flathead.
Yes.
You're conflating the two questions, Nick.
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome.
Now,
We answered.
Hold on, Gary. I'm sorry, but Nick, you just touch on this. These guys get together once a week, the reps, and do a Zoom event for happy hour. And Nick had a guest on last week, and then that was the first time I've ever joined you guys. And who was that guest?
His name's Brian Koppelman. He's a creator of the show Billions that's on right now on Showtime. Great show. He also wrote Rounders, which is a classic movie. He wrote Ocean's 13, Runaway Jury. He directed Knockaround Guys and Solitary Man. I've known him for 20 years. He's one of the best guys out there. He's a big cigar guy. We just sent him some goodies.
Yeah,
and
nice.
I just think it's funny. These are two very different worlds, but the common ground really, it led to a very interesting discussion. And I think for him, he got to see, we got to show him a side of the cigar business he doesn't get to see. And how often do you get access to a guy like that in our line of work? It's pretty cool.
That was cool. Yeah.
He was so down to earth and so willing to talk.
Sure,
Actually tweeted him afterwards and he responded to me and we talked a little back and forth, but just, creative genius. And it was really cool to talk to someone like that.
Yeah.
He was very open with us.
All right, Gary.
All right, so back to the cigar business. Woody's got a good question for you. He wants to know, what are the benefits of working under a large umbrella like General Cigar? So like what does that afford you that you wouldn't or that wouldn't exist if you were working for a smaller independent operation?
I can answer tobacco, because we have a library of tobacco that is kind of untouched in the industry. So the amount of wrappers we have to choose from, the amount of fillers and binders and all that. So the tobacco, the access of tobacco, that's saying that everybody can't do it. They can purchase that tobacco like us, but to say, do you have it on hand all the time? No, we focus on 2 or 3 wrappers, and General Cigar has the ability to share 15 or 18 wrappers. So yeah, tobacco.
I'd say from our reps, and I've worked for smaller companies that were great companies, but with General, there's no worry about how you're getting out on the road, the financial side of it, the staying in a nice hotel at night, the being able to take care of yourself. Basically, it's up to us to sell cigars, and they take care of everything else. Yep. So it's a really great environment to work in. It's really supportive. And at the end of the day, they always have our back. So I really enjoyed that, and not having to kind of worry about everything else. I can just go on the road, sell my cigars, and take care of that.
Thank God we're not staying in like a Motel 6.
Exactly.
Honestly, I've stayed on the road before I was with this company in some pretty shady places where I felt unsafe. Yes. And you don't want that. It certainly makes the job harder. But I would say is kind of tying into what Ricky said, I've smoked a lot of cigars that I've fallen in love with from other companies and smoked it 2 years later, and it was not the same cigar. Right. The one thing I love about what we do is we say we're going to do something, and sure enough, that happens. And then, I do think that as great as cigars are now, the foundation that our company is built on, decades and decades of great cigars that don't get worse. They're still great. You just have to remind people of them. But for somebody to be able to smoke an Excalibur No. 1 Maduro, and it being the same experience they had 2 decades ago or however long ago, that's something that requires the most expensive commodity is time, and that we're willing to take the time to make sure that we're meeting that standard. And I think a lot of people think that we're boring in that respect, but I think consistency, it's just like the vocal 10% in this industry don't represent the mass. It's the other 90% that are the blue collar, smoke a cigar that's $6-7, and they just want that experience because that time that they're spending is so valuable, and that we're able to give them something that they can count on.
Absolutely.
And the beauty of General Cigar, even when you're learning processing and techniques all the time, and you can shorten fermentation, you short aging because the styles of tobaccos call for that today. But when you have an old blend like Excalibur, and they're saying to you, back in the day, we aged that wrapper for 5 years. We still do that. And so that is something that a lot of companies just don't have to do because their history, their tail is not that long. And so when you have so many cigars on the market and so many fans of that cigar for decades, smoking that cigar and be able to say, I'm enjoying that cigar like I did the first time I picked it up 20 years ago. And that's something beautiful that we can say to these guys and say, guys, this is something special that we have to do, regardless if the process is newer and we can shorten this aging, we can shorten the fermentation and offer you a cigar today. But that style is not representative of the old style. And the old style has to continue to live. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So the next question is for you, Rick. This is from Scott. So he got into cigars back in 2014 because of the CAO brand. And he said it was especially the earthquake and the hurricane.
Okay.
So he just said that there was something really unique and fun about these cigars, and he really enjoyed them. So he wants to know if there's a plan to expand on the natural disaster line or to bring those blends back.
Unfortunately, my answer to you is no, because those blends were created prior to the FDA ruling of 2007. And so I cannot offer that cigar again. And so that's not saying that we cannot take that line like the hurricane and the heat wave and reintroduce that series, but we have to place a new cigar or new blend in that series because that blend was created after the 2007 ruling. So, unfortunately, no.
All right, so this is a fun question for you guys. This is from Christy. So if you could smoke a cigar with one historical person, who would it be?
Ooh.
Wow. Gary, you start.
Oh, me. All right. That's a tough one.
I'll go with Babe Ruth.
I love that. Yeah.
I'll go Babe Ruth because
Nick, we're on the same wavelength there. But I've got somebody different. But yeah.
I know he's not. I know that we're not going to light the world on fire with intellectual conversation, but I guarantee it'll be a fun time. And I know he loves his cigars.
Yeah.
Loved. He's dead.
So mine, and he's still alive, but mine would be Bobby Cox, the Atlanta Braves. He was a huge cigar smoker. Grew up watching every Braves game on TBS with my dad growing up, and just the way he always had his players back. And like I always thought about that. If I'm ever in any management situation, like the way they knew that he had their back, like one-on-one, he might chew your ass, but in the media with other bosses, he always had your back. I would love to just sit down and hear stories from Bobby Cox and have a cigar with him. So
for me, maybe because I was watching the series, Michael Jordan. Just to see, bro, how did you live that I can go outside any time of the day? Even I could go into the cigar shop sometimes, like, who's that guy? So how do you live your life? You cannot do it. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't go to the movies. You can't, you can't do anything. So what was that like? So I think Michael Jordan, that shell that he had to live in, was amazing to see that series and what he had to do just to be able to survive. Yeah.
Yeah, that series has blown me away. The fact, when they were running wind sprints the other day, I saw that part, and he was finishing first in all the wind sprints in practice. He doesn't have to do that. No one's watching him. No one cares, but he was a leader and he led by example. And that was a pretty strong thing to see. And yeah, he's an impressive guy.
Yep.
He did okay
Yeah.
for himself.
And Babe Ruth was the fastest to eat a steak amongst his crew, so it's similar.
Hot dogs. He was a fan of.
He's a
dogs.
hot dog guy. Yeah, big
So,
hot dog. He was my favorite baseball player growing up. That was always my guy.
all right, Gary.
All right. So, Rick, this question is for you. So, this is from Scott. And he said that he recently saw an interview where you were listing the top 5 cigars that made your career. And you named the Amazon Basin as the cigar that made your career. So, he's interested. He said it didn't seem like you were able to elaborate on it just due to timing. So, he wanted to know if you could go into a little bit more detail about how this cigar was such a large impact in your career.
Impact because of reason it was so unique. During my training, during working with General Cigar, learning about the blends and all that, there's tobaccos you hear all the time: Connecticut broadleaf, Connecticut shade, Honduran, fillers, Nicaraguan fillers, Colombia, Brazil. But that was the first time that I've ever got the opportunity to work with tobacco that nobody in the history of making cigars worked with. And so just to get our hands on the tobacco and the story behind the tobacco, where it's grown, how these local Indians deal with that tobacco, how they get it out of the Amazon on the river boat, 2 days on the boat, and then they trucks it to the dock for 2 days, and the ship leaves Brazil, comes to Nicaragua or Honduras. And so just the story behind the tobacco, we knew that we're working something different. Now, we didn't say great to ourselves. We know that it was different. And so the process of working with the team and putting that cigar to the market and playing with that tobacco and how much to use and how to use it. Do you use it as a wrapper, a binder, filler? How much of the filler? And so that really challenged me and the team to focus on this unique tobacco. And so, again, when we launched the cigar, we knew in our heart that we had something different. We thought it was special, but whenever you launch a cigar, it's up to the market to either agree or disagree. And for some reason, that struck gold with everybody. So I think to answer your question, it was the opportunity to work with a tobacco that has never been worked with before. That was scary, but turned out to be a great story and a great product. Yeah. And unfortunately, I'll share this because the FDA has kind of give us more time. We're going to be able to launch it one more time. And so I think we're going to start to drop that cigar maybe in August, September, but you're going to have the ability to purchase that cigar one more time because the FDA is going to go away forever unless they change their mind. It's not due to the lack of tobacco because the FDA is going to force us to get rid of that cigar.
All right, so this next question is really for all three of you, but it came as a result of something that Nick said. So Woody is asking, he said, Nick acknowledged some of his great retailers in his area. What are some of your great retailers doing that other retailers could take note of?
What I've noticed, and Jonathan and Nick, you can answer, the way you respect your customer. It all starts over there. If you treat these guys like I don't care about you, all I want is your money on your pocket and my counter, that's a problem for me. And that's the shop owner. If I do an event and I see that, I kind of tell myself I'm not going to come back to the shop because it doesn't respect his clientele.
Yeah. I think the shops that know what they are and they do that thing. Because a lot of shops try to be everything, or they don't pay attention to the demographics. They don't listen to people. They don't pay attention to trends. I think if they know what they are, whether you're a bar and you double down on that, or a hardcore retailer, or a hangout, like as long as you know what you are, you can't lose. And that's where you see success, because the guys that are constantly chasing the shiny object are always behind the times, and they're unable to service their clients in a way that actually is meaningful. So the guys that know what they are, and there's a lot of them out there, and you'll see in a time like this where a lot of your tools are taken away from you, the ones that shine are the ones who are very good at what they do and have risen to this, because you could put your head in the sand in a situation like this, but you've seen some people flourish because they know what they are and they double down and they handle their business correctly.
Great answer. Bird,
right.
Bird, we can't hear you, Bird.
He's muted.
You're mute, Bird.
Oh, yeah, let's unmute
I
him.
was muting because of the bird situation. Sorry. The shops that set themselves apart for me are the ones that work. I mean, at the end of the day, you can sit behind a counter and sit there, and people will come in and they will buy cigars. Those guys that are constantly working in their humidor, that when customers come in, they're taking them in the humidor, they're helping them out, they're socializing, they're getting on social media, doing that aspect of it. Like any other area of life, the harder you work, the better the results are. And there are guys out there that are working their ass off, and it shows every day in the way their cigar shop is succeeding. And if you get out there and work, you'll get a following. Guys buy cigars from guys they like, and cigar shops take on the personalities of the owners. So if the owner is a good guy that cares about his people, he's going to bring in customers like that. They're going to take care of him, and everything's going to work out really nicely.
I think also it's a lesson that it's a miracle some people don't learn till too late. Sell them what they want, not what you want to sell them.
Yeah.
Because it's never about this transaction. It's about the relationship. And sure, you may have a dog that's been sitting on your shelf that you need to get rid of. But if you sell that cigar to somebody that's not what they're going for and that's not in their flavor profile, you've lost that customer. Yeah. And that's in this business, you need that because there's a lot of things conspiring against us on a daily basis. So that's one of the things that as a tool that is free. It's a free tool to have.
All right, Gary, I think one more question if you have it before we.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a question from Dario. He actually is a retailer. He works at Yuli's Tobacco in Milwaukee.
Oh, the home of Laurel Tilly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, I think I met you. I think you did too. I think
I did.
met him at Laurel's wedding.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we did. But so he's asking, he's interested in possibly touring the factory. So he was just asking some questions. Do we, currently do factory tours?
No, currently we don't, but it's always in the plan because I can say this, every factory that I visit that General Cigar and SCD owns, Nicaragua, Honduras, and the DR always say to me, please invite everybody to our factory because they're proud of what they do and they want to showcase it. But for us, especially for me working in Honduras and Nicaragua, it's kind of hard, but it's always talked about. I want to take some fans, shop owners, consumers down to the factories and showcase the factories. But right now it's hard. But I can say this, if you ever find yourself in the location that we have a factory, if you just simply call me a day or week before, I guarantee you I can arrange for you to enter that factory and these guys will take care of you and show you off like you are the king you are. In their eyes, they think of everybody that walks through that door because they support us. And that's the mindset of the factory workers. Those guys support me and raising my family. So in their mind, I don't care if you're just a smoker of cigars, a owner of the shop, they look at it the same way. You're the king. You're our guest. Welcome to our home. So yeah. So if you ever say, like I said, if you ever plan to go to Dan Lee or the DR or SLE, contact me and I'll definitely arrange for you to visit the factory. Okay. All right, guys. I think it's about that time. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I think I learned a lot and how hard it is for you guys to do your job. I can say this. I'm sure I can speak for everybody that deals with you. Thank you so much for the time that you spent with me away from your family when you're doing events with me. Thank you for sharing some great shops with me that you believe in, that you trust, and that you love the shop guys. So every shop that I've ever visited with you guys, I don't think I've once gone away and said, No, no, I'm never going to go back to that shop. And so I just really thank you so much for doing that. And guys, I'll see you soon, hopefully sooner than later. But that's it. So next week, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm sure I'll have a guest on, and maybe we can learn a little bit more about what we do behind the scenes. So thank you so much for joining us. Be safe, be well, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, guys.